Kabul school blast killed 6, including students. Flight ticket prices to Sarawak dropped significantly, and there are concerns over online fraud in Sarawak. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Muhammad Yusuf, and you're now watching TVS Nightline. We begin with this top story. A twin blast outside a high school in Kabul, Afghanistan, has killed at least 6 people and injured 11 others, including students. The blast occurred in an area mainly inhabited by the Shia Hazara community, an ethnic and religious minority frequently targeted by ISIS attacks in the past.
According to witnesses, 2 explosions were heard outside the Abdul Rahim Sahid High School in western Kabul.
باز اینجا استاد بودم در انفجار بعدی بچه‌ها را صدا می‌کردم که اشتکا از ما کی است کی نیست که انفجار بعدی شد در اینجا باز ما خودم چرا خوردم.
A third blast had occurred at an English language center several kilometers away in the same area. The explosions occurred just as students were coming out of their morning classes at the school. Afghan security forces cordoned off the area and an investigation is underway. The number of casualties is feared to be higher than reported. No group or individual has claimed responsibility for the attack. Schools and education centers had in the past been attacked in the Daesh area, and the hardliner Daesh outfit claimed responsibility.
Air flight prices from Peninsular Malaysia to various destinations in Sabah and Sarawak have dropped significantly for flights during the Hari Raya Aidilfitri festive season from May 8th. This was after the discussion and approval by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, as well as proactive action by the Transport Ministry, together with the Malaysian Aviation Commission, MAVCOM, and domestic airline companies. Transport Minister Datuk Seri Wee Ka Siong said, based on MAVCOM's observation on April 16th, the one-way economy fare for that period from April 27th to May 8th is between 105 ringgit and 1,398 ringgit. Meanwhile, for April 29th to May 1st, which is the peak period, the one-way fare is between 195 ringgit and 1,398 ringgit. The situation was different from what was discovered on April 14th, where the price range for one-way economy class tickets for the said period was between 105 ringgit and 2,084 ringgit, whereas the peak period fare was between 195 ringgit and 2,084 ringgit. We also clarified this to claims that one-way economy class flight ticket costing 3,000 ringgit was for a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Kota Kinabalu with a transit in Kuching. Previously, it was reported that flight ticket fares between the Peninsula and East Malaysia cost around 2,000 ringgit for a return trip during the Aidilfitri festive season.
Following the reduction in flight ticket prices, several Sarawakans residing in Johor Bahru advise others to plan their trip home, especially for festivities, ahead of time. Awang Sebawi Awang Halil from Sri Aman, who has been residing in Johor for 30 years, said high airfares issues isn't new.
Dah musim perayaan tu kita dah planning awal-awal tau. Awal-awal kita dah planning, merancang, umpama kata orang dalam tempoh setahun kita dah plan dah kan. Macam ni perjalanan kita. Terlebih lagi kita pun bajet. Kita dah tahu bajet kita macam ni pun kan. Bajet kita setahun kita nak balik raya. Contoh kita nak balik raya tu setahun kita dah booking awal. Makna masalah tiket mahal akan timbul. Jadi saya harap siapa-siapa kita di Semenanjung tu nak balik ke kampung ke Kuching ke Miri ke Sibu ke, memang setahun kurang-kurang pun 6 bulan sebelum penerbangan kita dah booking awal.
Another Sarawakian in Johor, Adam Pon, however, is of the opposite opinion. He said the cost of many purchasing their tickets in the 11th hour is due to last-minute approval from their respective employers. That, however, does not excuse them from planning ahead, as flying date can be rescheduled to a later date.
Bagi kami lah, macam pengalaman kami juga lah, macam pun kita nak pulang, contohnya sepatutnya kita 5 bulan ataupun 6 bulan kita dah booking awal dah. Andailah kata tarikh tarikh kita nak balik lalu kita ada masalah sikit kan mungkin dalam kerja. Jadi kita jangan susah hati. Sebab tiket nyosi akan hilang. Jadi boleh dianjakkan.
Previously, Prime Minister Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob reminded airline operators not to hike the price of airfares excessively for flights from West Malaysia bound to Sabah and Sarawak. Earlier this month, the prices of the said airfares were hiked by over 500%.
There has been an increasing trend of e-commerce and online fraud since 2020. According to the Kuching District Police Chief ACP Asman Baja, the increase was due to lockdown during the pandemic, where online purchasing was at its peak.
In 2021, it was the highest recorded case, as there were 271 cases of fraud with a total loss of 5.9 million ringgit, compared to 90 cases in 2020 with a total loss of 4.87 million ringgit. Whereas in the first 4 months of this year, 74 cases were recorded with a loss value of 1.7 million ringgit.
Dan pada tahun 2020, 90 kes dilaporkan dengan nilai kerugian sebanyak 4.8 juta. Dan pada tahun 2021 mendadak meningkat sebanyak 271 kes dilaporkan untuk tahun 2021 sahaja. Walaupun kerugiannya 5.9 juta, tetapi jumlah mangsa yang terkesan dalam kes untuk tahun 2021 sangat tinggi.
Meanwhile, a total of 34 individuals, including 5 women, were wanted for various e-commerce and telecommunication fraud cases, aged between 26 to 52, wanted since 2006. Ashman noted many victims were unaware that they were scammed out of desperation. Often, the modus operandi used is well disguised as legitimate police officers or enforcement agencies. Therefore, the police advise the public to always be alert and vigilant before making any transaction to a third-party account. Additionally, the public is also advised to check the recipient's bank account number before making online transfer on the website shown.
Now on to developments in Sarawak. The Sarawak government will share its experience with several other countries in exploring new economic opportunities. Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, will speak in Singapore next week before a trip to Rotterdam, Netherlands in early May.
Sekarang, negara-negara lain mengenali usaha Sarawak dan menjemput saya untuk berkongsi sedikit pengalaman yang ada dengan mereka sambil meneroka peluang-peluang perkongsian ilmu dengan negara-negara luar.
Commenting further, Abang Johari said Sarawak, like other developed countries, should utilize technology to drive its economy at the highest level. Sarawak also sees international efforts to reduce global warming as an opportunity for efforts towards a low-carbon, fuel-based economy.
More temporary transit center or TTG will be established in several districts throughout Sarawak for the year 2022. Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah said Sarawak government is committed to resolving the homeless issue in the state by implementing placement planning and programs for the homeless.
According to Fatimah, every temporary transit center or TTG established will be assisted by non-governmental organizations or NGOs, as well as cooperating with corporate agencies involved in any corporate social responsibility (CSR). She added that the state government is planning to implement projects, programs and social interventions such as counseling and training in hopes that it will change their fate. Fatima also pointed out that Sarawak is among the top states in the country in terms of the number of rescued homeless during the COVID-19 pandemic. She said this after chairing the Homeless Management Committee or JPGS in Kuching on Tuesday.
Dan semasa Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan pada tahun 2020, 145 orang gelandangan diselamatkan. Dan bilangan tersebut meletakkan Sarawak di kedudukan ketiga di Malaysia yang mencatatkan jumlah gelandangan teramai diselamatkan.
Sarawak has ran a vaccination program for the homeless, in which 124 out of the 158 homeless have been inoculated.
Coming up right after the break, Singapore and New Zealand to collaborate to address climate change. Russia seized Luhansk's frontline town in the Battle of Donbass, and Jake Gyllenhaal, beware, as a new insect has been named after Taylor Swift. All that and more only on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Bumiputra Agenda Steering Unit, or TERAJU, and its strategic partner, University Science Malaysia, USM, today jointly launched the Sarawak Week in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The week-long promotion serves to introduce and entice Saudi taste buds to sample the unique Sarawakian delicacies.
In a joint statement, delicacies consisting of rare stingless bee honey, pepper, palm sugar, and one of the highly prized Sarawakian fare, the preserved turbo fish and roe, are being promoted at Kedai Asia. The strategic alliance was formed through community and industrial linkages to undertake a sustainable marketing for community or smart community program. Under TERAJU's community building flagship initiative, Bumiputra Entrepreneur Development Fund, or DPUB. The DPUB Sarawak program, initiated in 2020, aimed to empower and build capacity within the B40 communities and is part of the 11th Malaysia Plan and 3rd Rolling Plan towards inclusive and prosperity development of the nation.
Now, the Sarawak government has channeled donations worth over 1.5 million ringgit in conjunction with the Hari Raya celebration to 15,315 eligible recipients statewide. The matter was disclosed by Deputy Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Muhammad Razi Sitam, while speaking at the 2022 Hari Raya Idul Fitri celebration in Kota Samarahan.
From the total amount, Razi revealed that more than 200,000 ringgit in contribution was donated to recipients from Kota Samarahan.
Dan daripada sejumlah 15,315 orang penerima, di Semarahan tu ada 2,338 penerima bantuan, iaitu sumbangan sebenar pada Aidilfitri dengan jumlah sumbangan RM233,800.
Razi added that similar contributions will also be given to the target group during the coming Gawai celebration. Sejambak Kasih Hari Raya Idul Fitri 2022 is a program organized by the Welfare Department JKM in collaboration with TVS and Mastery Food, which contributed essential goods in the form of food to 150 recipients.
Now, Singapore and New Zealand have made a pact to work on developing a green economy to address the deteriorating global climate change. The economic includes 4 main pillars such as the energy transition technology, carbon markets, sustainable transport and waste management. Such an initiative will be exemplary to other countries to protect the most vulnerable species and places on planet Earth.
Please sit down. Climate change is the existential challenge of our times. Singapore and New Zealand share similar perspectives on it. We need stronger cooperation amongst countries to protect the most vulnerable peoples and places on our planet. At the same time, we see opportunities for practical collaboration as we adopt low carbon and green technologies. This new pillar of cooperation reflects our shared commitment to implement the Paris Agreement and work together to seize growth economies in the green economy.
Lee spoke at a joint press conference with New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who is in Singapore for a 3-day visit. This will be her first official trip abroad since the pandemic. When speaking, Jacinda addressed the impacts of supply chain issues caused by the surge of COVID-19. However, there are also opportunities for businesses to export products and services to both South and Southeast Asia in the coming years.
I'm pleased that today our officials will officially begin work on supply chain dialogue to support increased supply chain cooperation. This is especially important at a time like this with global uncertainty around COVID and Ukraine. New Zealand has always been a staunch supporter of the international rule of law and the UN Charter. Disputes must be solved through dialogue and not intimidation or coercion. We look forward to continuing to work with like-minded countries such as Singapore to support the resolution of such conflicts through peaceful means, including conflicts and issues such as those we see in Myanmar in our region also.
At the same time, Lee also announced a working holiday scheme between the two countries that will allow young Singaporeans and New Zealanders to live and work in each other's countries for up to a year. This will override the existing working holiday scheme that was implemented in 1999 until recently, which only allowed tertiary students aged 18 to 25 to spend up to 6 months in either country. On Wednesday, the two countries will also sign an enhanced partnership agreement for growth arrangements. This enhanced partnership aims to expand strategic business alliances between Singapore and New Zealand companies in sectors such as agri-food tech, transport and mobility, as well as sustainable technology. Earlier, upon Ardern's arrival, she was welcomed by a guard of honor at the Istana. Her 3-day visit will also include a meeting with the president and having an orchid named after her.
Welcome back. The Russian forces have launched an all-out attack on Ukraine's eastern flank, which the Ukraine has described as the Battle of Donbass. Ukraine's army has been bracing for a new Russian assault on its eastern flank since Moscow withdrew its forces near Kiev and from Ukraine's north late last month. And from our latest intel, Russia's Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said their aim is to liberate Donetsk and Luhansk.
Від окупантів. Зараз вже можна констатувати, що російські війська розпочали битву за Донбас, до якої давно готувались. Дуже значна частина всієї російської армії зараз сконцентрована для цього наступу. Скільки б туди...
Russia's reinforcements have set the stage for a protracted battle that military analysts say is certain to inflict heavy losses on both sides as the Russians try to encircle Ukraine's fighters dug in to defend the Donbas region. Meanwhile, Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said Russian troops destroyed a depot of weapons supplied by Western countries near West Ukraine's Lviv. The Russian used high-precision airborne missiles to hit a logistics center of the Ukrainian armed forces near Lviv, destroying large consignments of weapons. Additionally, at least 7 people were killed and 11 others wounded in the missile strikes.
Проти російського вторгнення. Російська армія не збавляє темпу використання ракет проти України, хоча вже мала би усвідомити, що їй буде вкрай складно відновити ракетний запас в умовах навіть вже чинних санкцій. Без імпорту вони не можуть навіть це. А коли будуть закриті ще й усі лазівки, які використовуються для обходу санкцій, та коли будуть введені ще жорсткіші санкційні обмеження, відновлення ракетного потенціалу Росії буде нереалістичним. Тобто російські ракетні удари призводять лише до одного – ракетної самодемілітаризації Російської Федерації. Схожий процес відбувається...
Nearly 2 hours ago, Russia has successfully seized Kremina, a frontline town of 18,000 people in Luhansk, one of the 2 Donbas provinces. Currently, the Russian army are attacking on all sides, and Ukraine authorities are trying to evacuate civilians and called for an impossible mission of tallying the dead. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has confirmed that another stage of their operation will begin soon. Now, Taylor Swift is undeniably one of the biggest music acts of all time. But recently, something very tiny was named after her. Introducing the newly discovered Nonaria swiftae, a brown and orange millipede discovered in the forest of Swift's home state, Tennessee. The name was given by entomologist Derek Hennon, who is apparently a longtime fan. The millipede will also go by the common name Swift. According to Hennon, the explanation for the name is included in a study which was published last week, where he and other researchers from Virginia Tech unveiled 17 new species of millipede. Though Swift has yet to respond on the news, Hennon is hopeful that she appreciates what a tribute is. For a scientist like himself, it is considered a huge honor to have a species named after the person. Since 2020, Hennon and his team have described 54 new species in the genus, which totals up to 78 species. The Nonaria swiftae looks similar to other twisted claw millipedes, but is differentiated by modified legs on the males. Wrapping up the Nightline, Japanese technology has never failed for being out of the box, and here is another one. These chopsticks have the potential of making mealtimes more enjoyable for people who have to eat bland food due to health concerns.
Developed by Japan's Meiji University's School of Science and Technology, Professor Homei Miyashita and Japanese beverage maker Kirin Holdings, the chopsticks can enhance the taste of food by using an electrical stimulation waveform. The eating utensil is connected to a mini computer device strapped to the eater's wrist, and a weak electric current moves sodium ions in the food that is being consumed. Miyashita and Kirin have conducted clinical tests on people who follow a low-sodium diet and found that the device enhances the salty taste of low-sodium food by up to 1.5 times. According to Miyashita and Kirin, the daily salt intake of Japanese adults is about 10 grams, which is double the amount the World Health Organization, WHO, recommends.
生活習慣病、これの重症化を防いだり発症を予防するためには日頃から食塩の摂取量を減らす必要があります。ただ日本人はもともと食塩の摂取量が非常に多くてですね、通常の方法で食塩の摂取量を控えようとすると好きな食べ物を我慢したり、また薄味の食事を我慢しながら食べたりっていうところが必要になっていました。
Miyashita and researchers at Kirin are currently refining the chopsticks and hope to commercialize it next year.
で我々キリンはヘルスサイエンス、食の健康と美味しさのところの幸せに貢献したいと思っておりまして、まさに、病気の方が、美味しい食事を食べるというところにこの技術貢献できるんではないかと考えて宮下先生との共同研究を始めました。
And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. For more headlines, head on to our website at TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. I'm Muhammad Yusuf. Thank you for watching.